Okay.
That's side-eye though.
Okay, let's go. We got a lot to do today. Today we're going to draw a diagram on the board. So books out, please, and get your coloring pencils out, because we're going to look at a very famous design. I mean, you can do color if you want. You don't have to. But we're going to draw something, because today we're going to use a visual symbol design that goes back a long time. There are a number of symbols, like images, that mean a lot in Judaism, right? For example, the menorah. The menorah is a very famous Jewish symbol that has a lot of significance, which I'm not going to discuss today. Guys, phones away, please. Books out. Let's learn a little. Your parents are paying for you to be here. You might as well get the most of it. The Star of David is also a very famous and powerful image and symbol. Actually, not so historical, by the way. The menorah is a lot more historical. But we're going to look at something that predates both of them. And you've all seen this design. Can you close the door, please? Thank you so much. Thank you. Sorry, you're in the mitzvah seat. We're going to look at a symbol today, or a design, not much a symbol, that all of you have seen before. I'm going to show you how the symbol is actually completely wrong and mistaken. I'm going to show you the real symbol, and then or design, and you're going to tell me why it's so important. You got it? Once again, I'm going to show you a design on the board. 99% of you are going to know exactly what it is. I'm then going to show you and prove to you that it's incorrect. I'm going to show you the real design, and then we're going to analyze the design itself and see how much it can teach us about Judaism. Okay, got it? Okay, here's the design that all of you have seen many times before. Yeah, I think you should actually design it. This first design is also important. It's not in the book. Yeah. Does that design mean anything to you? Yeah. It's not drawn so well. No, it's not kosher McDonald's. It is the Ten Commandments, right? The Ten Commandments. This is the design you will see in synagogues, in books, all over the world. This actually is not the correct design. This probably design wasn't even made by a Jewish person. I think maybe a Christian priest made it up, but it is based upon a verse in the Torah, which is, look at this, you'll find this very cute. Really, it's like this. This is like a heart shape, you see? Like a heart shape on the Torah. Because there's a verse in Tanakh, in the Torah, that says, put your heart on the Torah. So it's the original heart shape. Actually, what this is. Okay? It's cute, but that's not the original design. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this, although it's a nice idea, but it's not accurate. The original 10 Commandments, and by the way, we're going to even get rid of that expression, 10 Commandments. We're going to call it that, but we're going to see it's incorrect. Came and looked like this. Yep.
I've never seen a 3D box drawn that way.
Sorry.
I always draw it like that.
Not so good? There's three ways to do it. You could do a box like this. I remember in art class, right?
No.
Or you could do a box like...
No, the first one was really bad.
I tell you why I don't do that. Because I need the inside to write stuff in. So this is the best 3D effect you're going to get today. All right, Kales?
All right.
Good? Fabulous. And I failed art class because yeshivas do not have good art departments, I'll be honest with you, with all due respect. Okay, so here we have the two logos. They may not look it. These were identical, and they were made of stone. And I'm going to give you the Hebrew words for all these ideas. The single is a luach, which is a tablet. A tablet, right? Not an iTablet, like an Apple tablet. This is the original tablet that was downloaded from Hashem. Tablet. In the plural, it's luchot. Luchot is the plural, tablets. Okay? Luchot. Good so far? They were made of stone. In Hebrew, a stone is an even.
We know that one.
Good. How?
The Hebrew talk.
Good. They were made of stone, even. Now that's interesting because all of the Torah was not etched into stone, was it? It was put as writing on parchment. What's the difference between writing ink on parchment or paper and engraving into a stone? What's the difference? Yeah, Maya. Stone is more permanent. So as soon as you say that, and we're going to say that the words were etched into the stone, it's going to have to mean that there's an idea here that we are etching something more permanent and more important, and it's going to last longer, because stone lasts longer than paper. And if you etch, you're actually putting the words inside, as opposed to paper where the ink forms on top. Like a Torah. Torah is basically ink on parchment. Okay? Okay. These two stones, and this is not a coincidence, we're going to see it's really important, were made of equal size and equal weight and equal shape. They were the same size, the same weight, and the same shape. And they were about, I think, an amma. An amma is a Torah measurement. Actually, the word arm comes from the word amma. And the Torah says an amma is basically from the top of the middle finger down to the elbow, which in modern day would be like 1.5 feet or 2 feet. It's a biblical measurement. It's called an amma. Again, the word arm comes from the word amma. There's also a measurement called a tefach, which is from knuckle to knuckle, which is about 4 inches or so. Okay, so we know it was about 1 foot by 2 feet by 2 feet, something like that. Right? Whatever it was. But it was equal. And the fact that it was equal is really important.
The size of them, you're saying?
The size is not so important, but the fact that they were equal of size is important. Do you understand the difference?
No.
We don't know the exact size is mentioned, like an amma and a half by 2 amot, like 1.5 feet by 2 feet.
Or you're saying the fact that they were the same size?
The fact that they're the same size is really important, yeah. Okay?
Wait, what were you saying about the words being etched in?
So
Sorry.
unlike paper and ink or pen or pencil, where you write and it like appears on top, here the words were etched in. The word for cut in, the word for that is charut. Charut.
Do you feel like carved or etched?
Carved. You see, carved could work actually, but etched means it was cut right through. So I use the word etched, but you can use the same word carved. I think it's the same thing. It just means the letters were cut right. So how did you read it? There were little holes. The holes that went right through in the shape of a letter. Charut is etched or cut in like really.
And the top two is like together tablet.
So that's right. That's luchot is the plural of luach. 1 luach, 2 luchot, and they were equals. I'm going to put equals of LI. See that? They were exactly the same size and shape and everything. Now that's going to be important. Okay? So now we've got to figure out, well, what was written into, I'm going to say the word into, but onto, you know what I'm saying, into these 2 tablets. I mean, whatever it was, we're going to assume it was really important because these 2 rocks were given to Moshe Rabbeinu at Mount Sinai. This is the beginning of the Torah. This is the beginning of the Torah. Before there was a Torah that you know, right, like in a synagogue, in an Aranach, before we got that, we got this. It started with, boop, these 2. This is the beginning. Why? We're going to find out. Okay. Into these 2 blocks of stone was cut in 10, not commandments, but statements. 10 statements. And that's actually the Hebrew word. The Hebrew words are aseret ha-dibrot. Aseret means 10. Aseret ha-dib-rot. Ha-dib-rot. Aseret. Aseret dibrot means 10 statements. Now, we usually say 10 commandments because there was a famous movie with Charlton Heston that I grew up with called the Ten Commandments. But I'm going to actually prove to you there aren't 10 commandments in the 10 commandments. There's actually 13. Yeah, I know. There aren't 10 commandments. There aren't 10 mitzvot in the 10 commandments. There's actually 13. We'll leave that aside. I'm going to get back to that another time. Just leave that aside. Really, there's 10 statements. 10 statements. That's what, sorry, Deborah means 10. Okay. So on this tablet were 5. And on this tablet were 5. Interesting. Interesting. So they're both the same size, same shape, same weight, and they both have 5 things written on them. Okay? Which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the words on these 5 were different to the words on these 5, which are 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, let me ask you something. When you put 2 things and make them the same size, same shape, same weight, and you put them next to each other, like this, what does that design mean to you? When you see 2 things that are put together, side by side, what exactly am I kind of like trying to, what do you think the Torah is trying to reveal to us about whatever is written on these? We don't know what's written yet, because we're starting with a blank slate in this class, right? This is the beginning to Judaism. So what would you say? Yeah.
Maybe like it's like columns where like you're comparing like 1 and 6 together on the same level, and 7 and 2.
Oh my God. Where'd you get that from? You heard that.
My brain.
You just thought of that yourself?
Yeah.
You being serious?
What'd you say?
I've been teaching this class for years. No one's ever got that out of the blue. That's very interesting. You never heard that before? Okay, I'm not going to say what she said yet, because that's going to be the punchline. But hold on. That was very impressive. That's very interesting. But the word, you did use one very, very important word. That is compare. Compare. Go on.
I was going to say they have a relationship because the first 5 are like between you and God, and the second 5 are between you and
Okay, so says Shayna, wait a minute. I know that these 10, right? And we discussed the number 10 already, if you remember, right? 10 represents completion. These ones must be connected because they're on the same block, right? And these 5 must be, because they're also on the same block. But these 5, these are up on separate blocks. Why would God put things on separate blocks and make them the same size, weight, and shape? As if to say,
They're just as important as each other.
they are just as important and equal to each other. That's one thing. So they're equal. Whatever's going on over here may seem different to over here because on different blocks, right? It may seem, and this is number 1, this is number 10. But no. Actually, they are, number 1 is they are equal. They're equal in importance. And we're going to see why that needs to be stressed. Yeah, that's important. They're equal importance. What else? Yeah.
They complement each other.
They complement, not complement with an I, complement with an E. They complement, they work together. They complement each other. Very, very good. They complement each other. And you may have thought that this 5 are more important than this 5, or conversely, these 5 are more important than this 5, but the Torah says, no. They're separate fields, right? They're different. They're different because they're different blocks, but they are equally important. So don't make the mistake to think that this 5 is more important than this 5, because they ain't. Yeah? Yeah.
Is it also like you can't have one without the other?
Oh, that's also good. I never thought of that.
What'd
You
say?
can't have one without the other. It's a list of 10. If I say I got 10 things to tell you and I tell you 5, you're like, whoa, I'm being gypped. Where's my other 5? Hello? I'm paying full tuition. No one's paying full tuition, right? Someone is. I'm sure there's someone once in the history of YU. Okay, so what's going on over here? One cannot live without the other. They go together. Although they're separate, they go together. Because it's got a sister that goes with it, or a brother and a sister. Actually, I'm going to go with the brother and a sister. Does anyone know I would say that? You have to know a lot to know this. Oh, okay. Really, because it was kept in a box, and above the box was an image of a little boy's face and a little girl's face.
Wait, what's this?
Okay, I can't go into it now because they're going too far off topic.
Girls have different things.
They were actually about, this was kept in a box called the Ark, the Aron, and traveled with the Jewish people wherever they went in the Beit HaMikdash eventually, and they actually had angelic faces, that's the general structure, and there were faces of a little boy and a little girl on top. Okay, so that's, I'm going to do that another time. That's very interesting, by the way. That's why I said sister and brother tablets. Okay, whatever. They're twins. Twins look the same, but they're not the same. And these two blocks are not the same because they have different words on them. Okay. Are we together so far? Fabulous. Here's the question now. These five have one general theme. So write this down. What's the general theme that links these five together? Very good. Now we're going to use the Hebrew expression for this. We're going to have a Hebrew expression for this, okay? So write in the Hebrew, because I'm not just teaching it to torture you, although that is fun, but it's an expression you're going to hear a lot, okay? It's not in the book. It's Bain, Adam, Le, sorry, wrong tablet, Le Makom. I'll translate those words. Do not worry. Bain, 1 second. Adam le makom. Bain means between. Adam, mankind. And makom is one of the names of God. The word makom is one of the names of God. Now, the word makom actually means a place. Makom is a place. Why is one of God's name? Why is God referred to sometimes as makom, the place? Why is God referred to as the place? Because God is everywhere. All right, he's the ultimate place. Yeah? But also, he's not contained inside it. He's not trapped like we are. So makom is one of the code words in the Torah for a physical place, but also it also hints towards God. So these are mitzvot between us and God. Okay? For example, one of the mitzvot over here, if you want to know which one it is, it's going to be number 4, is between us and God, is Shabbat. Because Shabbat's not with us and each other, it's between us and God. Right? Makes sense. So that falls over here. Okay. That's block number 1. Block number 2 is different. Block number 2, my dear friends and loved ones, has an... Yeah, what? Yeah. All 5 are between us and God.
No, but all 5 statements are about Shabbat?
No, only number 4 is.
Oh, so then what are the rest?
We're going to see in a second. Number 6 through 10 is called, as a group, mitzvot, bain, mitzvot. Right? Because we're talking about mitzvot. Commandments. Bain, Adam, between people. Le, cha, ve, ra. Yeah. Gone. Mitzvot. These are commandments between us and each other. This is all the stuff we do towards each other. Happens to be, my dear friends and sisters, that this semester we're focusing on this tablet, and next semester, if you decide to do this, or those who did it last semester, I think one of the people did it last semester, we're going to focus on all the mitzvahs between us and each other. Okay? Because they're different. But wait a minute. It's between man and chaveiro, friends, others, other people. For example, we're going to see one of these 5 is do not kill. That's between us and each other. Don't kill other people. Another is going to be don't steal. It's between us and other people. Okay? So that would fall under the rubric of Bein Adam LeChaveiro. Got it? Abs fabs, as they say in England. Here's the question which you already answered. Okay? And the question goes like this. Why do they both need to be put on different stones? Why do they need to be put on different stones? Why can you just get one big stone that has a list all the way down? And the top 5 will be between us and God, and the bottom 5 between us and each other. Yeah, it's not my question. It's a very famous question. It's been answered by great teachers, been asked by great teachers. They've given their own answers. We're going to look at one famous answer today, and that's going to take up the rest of our time today. Question again is, why can't we just have one big rock? If I send you shopping, right, to a store, and I'm like, okay, fine, take a list of things you need to buy. You need to buy potatoes. You need to buy eggs. And you're like, I say, wait a minute. I've decided for the remainder of the order, I'm going to use a different piece of paper. Just, you have room on the paper. Write all 10 on one piece of paper. Why do you need to have 2 pieces of paper? You can organize things straightly in one list. Can't be that, yeah.
Maybe because the top of the list is the more important one.
Oh, very good.
Most holy food.
So you would have thought that. You would have thought, the mitzvah between us and God, had they been put in one long list, are really higher than the mitzvah between us and each other. So God's really concerned with how you relate to Him and not to each other. So what is the Torah telling you? By the design itself is saying, nein, as they say in Amsterdam. I just got back last night. Nein. That's not true. The fact they're put next to each other, meant the same size and same weight and the same design, means that they are separate but equal important. Okay? You get it? So the design itself of the first time that it was given to you is that the way you treat each other, you would have thought, and by the way, religions were like this. You could treat each other like complete garbage as long as you're worshipping God. Right? They would kill their kids to God. That's treating other people like garbage. Right? It doesn't get worse than that, killing someone. We're going to see this. The worst thing you do to someone is to kill him. But, I have a good relationship with God. We're like, no. No. When Moshe Rabbeinu gave us the Torah, God was saying, no. There's a whole new value system which has been underrepresented. And that is that the way to come close to God is to be good to each other.
You know that saying that like to embarrass someone is good to
Kill him, yes, I do understand. We're going to discuss that statement, yes. It is connected to it. Hold on, we're going to get there. Yeah, Maya.
So is there a reason why the list of 5 in one tab is in that order?
Yes, very specific. The order is really important. It's not like a random list. So when you memorize these 10, which you're going to do for your midterm, and the rest you'll I'll tell you one thing. One thing, I grew up, I went to yeshiva my entire life. Wasn't the best student, to be honest with you. I wasn't so interested in those days. I went to yeshiva, so I went to study in Israel too. When I came back, I was on a bus. I went to university in the north of England called Manchester, and a priest got on the bus.
Huh?
A priest.
A
No, a non-Jewish priest got on the bus. I'm in Manchester, in England.
Oh.
And there's lots of empty seats, but someone's going to sit next to you. That feeling someone's going to sit next to you. You got that feeling like, oh, here he comes. Coming for me. And he sits next to me, and he sees I'm Jewish. I don't know what it was, the yarmulke, the nose, it was something. And he says to me, oh, you're a Jew? I'm like, oh, God. I was like, yes, I am. He's like, let me ask you a few questions. He starts asking me questions about the Messiah and King David. And in those days, I didn't know what to say, although I've been to yeshiva my entire life. Since then, I've written a book on the topic, right? But that was really, I was like, oh, my God. And then he started to ask me questions about the 10 Commandments. And I realized I did not know the 10 Commandments. And I think most kids in yeshiva today do not know the 10 Commandments in the correct order. And the order is really important, as you're going to see very clearly today. Okay? So I went straight home and, I did nothing. But many years later, I thought, if I'm going to be a rabbi, I better learn the 10 Commandments and understand them, because they're really the root of the rest of the Torah. The Torah was given to us in this form, and then in a much more detailed, double-click kind of form. Yeah?
I heard that you're not supposed to argue with a Christian or Catholic about the Bible or the Torah. They just have to know more about it.
Incorrect. You are fully entitled to argue. You just have to know what to say to them. You have to know how to answer them. So before you get to that point, you better know what the Torah says. because many of them are ignorant in the quote-unquote Old Testament. By the way, that is a terrible expression, Old Testament, which means it's old, and they have the new. No such thing. The Torah is new every day. It's called Chadash. So it's the Torah, is the way we describe it. But no, I've had many, many such discussions. Actually, I once had a mystery come to my door, and someone was with me, and they filmed it and put it online. I don't know where it is anymore, but it got hundreds of thousands of views.
I'm going to find
I'll be getting it about. You may not be able to find it. I don't know where it is. I've not seen it in years, but I know when to stick off. Not right now. Not put your phone away, Shevitz. Yeah.
It's like a punchline to a joke.
What?
Sounds like it's gonna be a punchline to a joke. Like a Jew and a priest gone to a bus.
It's just like that. Well, that's exactly what happened to me. Anyway, so you need to know the reason. Ellie, you had a question? That was it? I guess good go. Yeah.
Do the order of them have to do with who they apply to? Does the order of them? Because within the text-
Let me think about the answer. Did the order by who do they apply to? Not really. Not really. Okay. Here's the next layer. Follow carefully. This is important. Here's the punchline. What did you say a few moments ago? No, not you, Elia. Yeah. Yeah. And you thought of that yourself? Okay. Comes along Rashi. And Rashi says, the fact they're put next to each other doesn't just mean they're designed to compare, contrast all five and all five, right? It's not just that. You'll notice that number 1 is next to number 6. 2 is next to number 7. 3 to 8, 4 to 9, and 5 to 10. So he's like, you know what? You can actually discover a lot, or we're going to discover a lot, not just by analyzing this 5 and this 5, which is usually how you do it when you go to yeshiva, but we're not going to do that. We're going to do it the Rabbi Haji way. We are going to analyze it not just vertically, but horizontally. Because number 1 and number 6 are not just next to other by coincidence, they are going to connect and reveal information that you would never have got just by looking at number 1 or just by looking at number 6. Are you following? You kind of getting it? And we're going to analyze number 2. And we're going to go through all 10 basically, but we're not going to do it this way, 1 through 5, and then 1 to 10. We're going to go sideways.
5 to 5, 6.
1 to 5, 1 to 6, 2 to 7, 3 to 8, 4 to 9, and 5 to 10. That's how we're going to do it. And that's how you're going to learn it. And that's how you're going to memorize it. And you're going to end up with 5 connections. These 5 connections are like the connective tissues that pull the entire Torah together. They are the connective sinews that are going to hold everything together. So we're going to have 10 statements, but we're going to have 5 connections. And I don't know if I have a chance today to do all, but we'll start today and finish it next class. That's the plan. Okay?
That's really cool.
That's cool. It's really, really cool. Trust me, it's good stuff. Yeah.
So we're saying that now we're going to learn them 1, 6, 2.
Yeah.
But does that change the order? Like if we're going to
No.
memorize
The
it,
order,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
very, very
6,
good.
7, 10?
Good question. So good question. It doesn't change the order. The order is still, this is still number 1, right? Because it comes number 1 in the Torah, right? This is all listed in the book of Shemot, Exodus, chapter 20. And the order is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But the way the design was, when it's not written, when it was given with a design. And we know because the design is not drawn out of the Torah, but described in the Torah. So we can learn it via the design rather than just the order it appears. And interestingly, every religion, every Christian always says, it's 2 tablets. Everyone knows the design. They all say, they don't know why, because they never went to Rabbi Hanjov's class, right? They never studied, Rashi like I did. It's actually a Rashi Shir Hashum. It's a very unusual location for the Rashi. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to start today. We're going to go through, and we're going to see, come up with 5. And these 5 connections are really everything you need to know about being Jewish. Because remember, the Torah, when it first was given like this. And then later on, all the commandments were like added on. But it started like this. Okay. So that's going to be today's investigation. And we're going to just start today. And we're going to learn a lot from these statements. Yeah. Questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
that, the question that you asked, why do they both need to be on different stones?
Yeah.
And the answer is because they're separate.
Because they're separate but equal. That means we consider our relationship to God to be of equal value to our relationship to each other. Right? They're equal. Which means a person can say, oh, I keep Shabbat, but I cheat in business and I'm mean and nasty and I speak Lashon Hara, bad about other people, but who cares? Right? It's just the person next door. As long as I'm good to God. You're like, no. You're only doing half the Torah. Or you could turn around and be like, you know what? I'm so nice to my friends and I'm a good person. I don't need kosher. I don't need Shabbat. Like, no, you're only getting half the Torah. You need both. They work in synthesis with each other. One is a thesis. One is the antithesis. We have to make them into synthesis.
The part about them connecting with the numbers,
Yeah.
under that question, or if?
No, it's a separate question. We're going to do that right now. Okay, so let's do it. Let's start, right? Let's just jump straight in and let's see how far we can get. We have a little bit of time left after our discussions of... start with number one. Okay? This is number one. And again, this can all be found in the book of Shemot, in the book of Exodus, chapter 20. It's all written out there very, very nicely. And it's all done in nice bullet points for us over there. But let's begin. What is the first of the 10 commandments? It is... Which means? Who, you are Elisha Bechar? Oh my God, I got so excited there. Who would have thought that be a Panamanian redhead? I never saw that one coming, I tell you. Very good. It says, I am the Lord your God. That's number one. I'm going to write certain words in Hebrew. Certain words in here I'm going to write because they're going to have very importance. For example, the most important word over here, well, there's a lot of important words over here, right? Because this is the first time God spoke to the Jewish people as a nation. Individuals he spoke to. But as a nation, it started here. So if anyone asks you, when did God speak to the people as a nation, as an God spoke to Abraham, he spoke to Noah, he spoke to Moses. But that only takes on importance when he spoke to us as a collective. So this is the first one. This letter over here is really important. It's the I bit. There's two ways to say I in Hebrew. One is ani, means I. Yeah? Ani, aleph, nun yud, right? Say, I'm going to the store, ani olecha chanut. I'm going to school, ani olecha bet sefer. Right? It's I. There's another way which we don't use in modern Hebrew, and when I explain why, you'll see why it really would not work in modern Hebrew.
But we use it in
The other word is anochi. Anochi. That also is a word that appears in the Torah and also means I. What's the difference between anochi and ani? What's the difference between these two ways of saying I? Obviously, something else is intimated in this I as opposed to this one. What do you think? Yeah.
Isn't Anochi like to like multiple people in a sense? And, like,
It does sound plural, but that's not what it is. That would be anachnu. Anachnu means us in the plural. It's close, actually. It's very, very close. But that's not actually what it is. It's a little difficult to guess this one. You kind of got to know it or not know it, yeah.
Does it have something to do with the letters?
It does got to do with the letters, yeah.
The
Okay.
value of the letters?
Not the value.
the
Nice try. That would be the good. Actually, oh God.
Like the number?
Scare me. Not the number. No, it's good. You're good. You're thinking, I love this. This is good. This gets me excited. Doesn't take much nowadays, love. It's not the shoresh, no. It's actually,
Something.
yes. Each one is called an acronym. It's an acronym. You have Aleph. I'm going to write it downwards. Nun, Chaf, and Yud. That's what the Gemara tells us. Aleph, Nun, Chaf, Yud. Aleph is, it actually means I. But Aleph is number one, means God. So it's Ana. This is Aramaic. So I wouldn't worry too much about the actual words themselves. But the idea you need to know. Nafshi. You don't need to write this down if you don't. But when I translate it, you will. Ketavti.
Rabbi, can I turn the air conditioner?
Open the door. The air conditioner is too loud. And Yahavti. You're going to open the window a little bit for fresh air. You can do that if you want to. Let me just translate these words. This is God speaking, right?
Can you write down the
Yeah.
definitions that you-
I will. I, nafshi, my soul, Ketafti was written, I wrote, was written. And Yahavti means Yahavti, and given. You don't need to know these words. You need to know the word Anochi means, God is saying, if you want to know who I am, God, my soul, was written and given. Where? In the Torah. So the first time the Torah was given, God's saying, you want to know who I am? So God, everyone wants to figure out who God is. The best way to know is a Jew. Anything about God, what he's like, what he wants to do, what he did, how he's going to do it, anything you want to know about God, we read and learn the Torah. The Torah is our way of knowing. God is saying, my soul was written and given. So so this is I. Anochi, I'm the Lord your God. You get it? You see, Ani, look at this. Ani is, I'm going to do it. But if I do it, Shani could do it. Right? And if not Shani, then anyone else. I is like anybody. Anochi is like, it is I, and only I. So this is a God word. This is a God value. By the way, sometimes humans use this word, but it just means that they and only they do it. So I, my soul, if you want to know what God is, read the Torah basically. Smells bad?
Yeah.
What's going on outside?
I think it's like the pipe over here.
Okay, close that window then, for God's sakes.
Wait, so the Anochi is like a God.
Anochi is a God value of like I and only I. You know God is speaking basically. You get it? I'm the Lord your God. Now what does it say right after? Yeah.
I don't know if this is stupid, but like I get it's an acronym, but like what are the words?
So literally, it's Aramaic. I, my soul, nafshi, Ketafti was written, and Yahavti is from the Gemara. The Gemara, the oral Torah tells us this. Yes, those are the four. It's a very famous idea. I didn't make it up. It goes back thousands of years. But the word Anochi means I. If you look at the track, it says I, but it means God. But it's like, it's a godly I. Only God could do this.
Wait, what's after my soul?
Was written, Ketafti, was written and given. God says, to understand God in this world, there's many ways to do it. You can go and celebrate, you can see a rainbow, I don't know, a mountain, a waterfall. God said the best way, and those work, I'm not trashing them. The best way to get to know God, he says, is the Anochi, is learn the Torah. The Torah is the blueprint of existence. It's actually, we're going to discuss it later on, it's actually God's name. The entire Torah is one name of God. That's what the Kabbalists tell us. But we'll get to that later on. Let's not go too far. Let's not go too deep, I'll lose you. Okay, so commandment number 1 is, is this a mitzvah, by the way? Is this telling me to do something? Is this a mitzvah?
Yes.
What is it?
Believing in it.
Good girl. This is mitzvah numero uno that was given to the Jewish people as a whole. There were mitzvah given before, like Brit Milah, remember? Earlier we had Brit Milah, Avram Avinu. So that mitzvah occurred before. But as a people, this is the mitzvah to believe. So if someone says, where's the mitzvah to believe in God? The answer is, the rabbi told me. No, that's not the answer. The answer is, it's the first of the 10 commandments. You got to believe in God. Although it's given as a statement, not as a command, because it just is. So I'm the Lord your God. But that's the mitzvah to believe in God. It's found inside that statement. What does it say right afterwards? I'm the Lord your God who took you out of Egypt. Now that's weird. This is God's business card. You know these 2 tablets? God's business card. If God had a business card, this would be it. And believe me, you'd probably get the job. He says, I'm the Lord your God. Now, this is the first words that God spoke to the entire Jewish people. This is big stuff. And he says, I'm the Lord your God, who, what would you have followed, like ... who, created the world, the universe, all the planets. I mean, that's an opener, right? Your heart's beating right now, that's because of me. You can see Baruch Hashem, it's because of me. You're breathing, it's because of me. Now that's impressive. That's an opener. I'd be like, yeah, you got the job, right? You can work in HR. Whatever you want. That is an opener. But it doesn't say this. It's something really weird. I'm the Lord your God who, ... took you out of Egypt.
That's the whole thing.
So weird. Yeah. I took you out of Mitzrayim, Egypt. What? That's it? What? I know he took me out of Egypt. The same people who received the Torah were taken out of Egypt 50 days earlier. Because 50 days after leaving Egypt, we got the Torah. So we all know that. Who took us out? Because it's God. We saw it. We saw the plagues. We saw the sea split. We saw it all. So what is this about? This is very important, by the way. It's going to come up again and again and again. One second, let me just explain this idea. It's a deep idea, but it's a very important idea. Up to this point, were there other nations and people who believed in God? Up to this point. Gods, yeah, tons of them. You know, Pharaoh in Egypt had thousands of gods, like thousands. When Moshe Rabbeinu walked in to see Pharaoh, the Midrash tells us, he's like, hi, I'm here to tell you about God. And he's like, what's his name? He's like, well, it's the Yud with the Hey and the Vav with the Hey. You know, the Haya, Hove, yeah, was, is, will be. Right? Do you know what he did? He had one of his sons, they say, bring out a book of gods. And there were 10,000 gods inside there. No, he's not here. And he closed the book. Why don't you just say, fine, we have 10,000, we have 10,001. Because Moshe Rabbeinu gave him a new idea. Listen to this. He's like, you know what? You have believed in a God who you are scared of, that you need to sacrifice to. You need to worship as an idol. This is a new idea of God. This is the God of love, of ahava. We mentioned the word ahava last time. This is the God of ahava, the God of love. How do you show someone you love them? You take care of them. You rescue them. You make sure they're okay. So what does God do? He says, I took you out of Egypt. I came into Egypt. I took you out. I'm the God of love. The God I want you to believe in is not the scary God, right? Not that. You should know that how do you show? You have to love me because I rescued you from the worst place. Egypt was the worst for the Jewish people. We were physically being beaten, and spiritually and psychologically, it was the worst place. They say Egypt was the worst, and they say where the Jewish people lived in Egypt, which was called Goshen, was the worst of the worst. It was like mega bad. So what he's saying is,
That's stupid.
What?
Was this compared to the Holocaust?
Oh, it was the beginning of every Holocaust in Jewish history. The roots were here. The roots, every exile. Right? The Holocaust is just one of them. You know? This was the beginning of it all. It started in Egypt. It was like, look, I am the personal God. You know, they believed in God, but they thought God wasn't aware of human actions. He created the world, but that's about it. He's not aware of what's happening. This is the God that says, I know, not only did I create the world, I'm actively involved in your life. That is a new concept that didn't exist up to this point for a nation. Maybe individuals knew it. Abraham, Noah, Methuselah, Sarah, Rebecca. But this idea of the creator of the world actively knowing what's happening in your local neighborhood of, Teaneck, LA, Tel Aviv, that did not exist. That's an intimate, involved God. Got it? So that's why Egypt appears as opposed to anything else, which would have been a lot more impressive. We good? Okay, we're going to leave that because we have to jump now to number 6. We got to jump the other side, right, sisters? So that's number 1. You got it all down? Fabulous. So what exactly is number 6? So number 6 is pretty simple. Number 6 of the 10 Commandments. Remember, we're now going across. We saw number 1 was belief in God. Yeah? Actually, not even belief in one God. That's going to be number 2. We're not there yet. We're still on number 1. So number 1 is belief in God. Now we jump to the other side. What's number 6 of the 10 Commandments? My dear, lovely, gorgeous friends. It's not do not steal. Number 6 is do not kill. Do not. Well, I'm not going to use the word kill. I'm going to use the word murder. I'm going to use the word murder because you are allowed to kill at certain times and circumstances. If a person comes to try to kill you, chas v'shalom, you're allowed to kill them first.
Really?
Absolutely. If someone's chasing you with a gun, like, well, If I kill him, one of us is dead anyway. You're allowed to kill them, even preemptively knowing they're going to. It's a much bigger difference. You're allowed to kill someone in self-defense, right?
Before they even do anything to you.
Yeah. If you think they're going to do something to you, and you have good evidence they are, like for example, the Torah says, if they tunnel into your house, that's the exact wording of the Torah. Ba b'machteret, it says, to kill you, which they just did a few months ago, right? You can assume that to kill you, you can kill them first. Unless, says the Torah, you know for sure they would never hurt you. Who's that? Like a father or mother who breaks into your house, you can assume the only reason they're doing it is because they want something like money or something, and then you cannot kill. If it's clear like the sun in the sky,
If someone's running at you, then
That's not.
you can assume they're after you, try to kill you, you're allowed to kill them first. Balarecha, you're allowed to kill them. Chayecha kodmin, your life takes precedence over someone else. Even if you know they're planning an attack on you to kill you, you're allowed to preemptively, according to the Torah, wipe them out. That is a mitzvah. It's not a pleasant mitzvah. So murder no. Killing, you can do. That will be preemptive. This is murder. This is premeditated. There's no threat for them in any way, shape, or form. You're not allowed to kill people. I see Mrs. Goldberg walking down the street. I'm hungry. I got no money, no food. She's got food and money. I take a rock, I bang her on the head, and I take the money. Good thing or bad thing? Oh, really? Why is that bad? Wait a minute. Why is that bad?
You killed her
With what?
with proper intention.
Well, I did. I'm hungry.
That's not.
There was a reason. I said I'm hungry.
That's not the
It's not a valid reason.
Why is that not a valid reason?
It's selfish.
Why is that
She
selfish?
wasn't trying to kill you, so you're not allowed to kill her.
Yeah, but I'm asking you, fine. She wasn't trying to kill me, but if I don't eat, I'm going to die.
You could have gotten money another way.
There's no other way to get money. I'm creating a scenario where there is no other way. Am I allowed to kill her? And if I do, it's about...
No.
Yes, life goes
Yes,
first.
you are.
You are allowed to kill her?
Yes.
No, you don't mean that.
If it's for life and death, then yes it is.
I can kill someone else? Actively kill someone else? No. Ellie, you're not getting the exact... Listen. Mrs. Goldberg has the money. I don't. She's innocent. Forget it. Human. Two humans. I cannot kill someone, even though if I don't get what she has, I'm going to die. That I cannot do. If my life is in danger from that person, I can kill them. That's very, very, very different. Forget it. She didn't take it. She had it. She went and she picked up her paycheck. Absolutely not. But my question is, let's say it's not two humans. Let's say it's two animals. Let's say it's a lion and an antelope. Now, is the lion allowed to kill the antelope, or do we arrest the lion for doing it? Why? Oh, wait a minute. How come it's okay for the lion? We don't go arresting lions. Where were you at midnight last night? Oh, hunting in the Serengeti. And you went and killed that innocent little antelope, and it was just frolicking around, and you bit into his neck. How come that's acceptable? And yet for me, think about it, to go up to Mrs. Cohen on the street, because I'm hungry, and bite out of her neck and take her money, how come that's not okay? Why is that not okay?
Different standards and levels.
Why is there different standard levels, my question? For not Jews, forget, just humans.
That's the whole point. We're humans and they're not.
Why does that make a difference?
Because they don't have the same.
they
can't
can't
speak.
speak.
They can't speak.
Soul. Because we have the
You have to say that. It's the only answer that makes sense. I know they discuss this in philosophy for decades and decades. It's the only thing that makes sense. And that is, and this is the key word over here, acknowledgement. Why is killing bad? Why is it so bad to kill Mrs. Cohen, and yet understood that animals can kill each other? Obviously, we're saying that we have a different standard. Where does that come from? We acknowledge there's a God. Do we believe in God? That's number one. And we acknowledge each other. How do you acknowledge someone else? You don't kill them. That's pretty much the best way. The best way not to acknowledge someone is to kill them. So the key connection between belief in God, see this going this way, belief in God is going this way. Look at me, going up. Do not murder is going this way, because this is on the other side. And the key connection is acknowledgement. We acknowledge by not killing people. Why? Because they're made in the image of God. Let me ask you this. Let's flip it for 1 minute. I know we've done a lot today, and we'll finish in a minute. Can you kill God?
No.
Can you kill God? Is that possible?
No.
In your
If
mind.
you're,
In your mind. You
not
could.
practice the religion.
Or you can say, I don't believe in God. By not believing, you're saying then God doesn't exist.
But it doesn't matter.
So you haven't literally killed God, obviously, but you can kill God in a sense by
Cutting him out of your life.
cutting him out of this world by not believing in God. So really you could kill God in a certain way by not believing in him. So we're told believe in God, that's number one, and believe in each other by not killing each other. That's acknowledgement. That's the connection. Can you see it? This is going up, it's going sideways. Should we do that again? Are we clear on this?
what do you mean up and sideways?
Because these 5 are between us and God. So as well, we're talking, it's all about us and God. And this is between us and each other.
So it's sideways.
So it's sideways. You understand? Yeah, that's why just the way I picture it. I'm sorry. That's not literally what it means. But this is between us and God, and this is between us and each other. But they're put next to each other to say that acknowledgement. So you acknowledge each other. Why? By not killing. But why? Because there's a God. If there's no God, you do whatever you want to each other, like the Nazis. Right? You don't believe in God, do what the heck you want. No one's stopping you. You know, I just watched on the plane back a movie which I didn't really enjoy. Actually, I thought it was pretty terrible. There was some nice symbolism. It was called Zone of Interest. You heard of this movie? It's basically a movie about Rudolf Hess. He lives with his family next to Auschwitz. And his family's cooking meals. And they have Jewish servants or slaves. And they're hanging out. And they can hear the gunshots. And they go to school. And they celebrate birthdays. And the entire movie, you don't see the concentration camp. You just see this nice little house. And they're treating the dogs so nicely. And they're feeding. And they have the Jews. And you don't even see one dead Jew the entire movie. But you hear some stuff. But you just see this nice family. Little hints to what's happening next door. It's possible for a person to be like, yeah, you know what? I don't acknowledge your right to exist because I don't have God in my life. And there's no God, do what the heck you want. What's stopping? I never understood this. And there's many arguments against this. But what's stopping a person being like, if there's no God, and I can kill someone, and no one's going to find out, or I can shorten the length of their life by pulling the plug, or euthanizing them, what's the big deal?
Yeah, I don't understand how this applies to like atheists because they don't believe in God, they don't acknowledge that.
That's fine. I'm saying, there are atheists. There always have been. My point is that it doesn't make sense. Then what's stopping them killing other people? They'll say, well, society, laws will tell us not to kill people. Like, yeah, but let's say the laws say you can kill people, like in Nazi Germany. I'm just saying it's the reason we say the root of not killing people is not from the law of the land, because that can change and always has. It's we see God inside people. The two are connected. This is why we don't murder, because everyone is made in the image of God. That's basically what we're getting over here. And that key word is acknowledgement. I acknowledge God's existence, and therefore I don't kill other people. Unless God says this person needs to die. Like when? Like in self-defense. Then it becomes a mitzvah. Why? Because God says so. You getting it? There's a lot today. Is it heavy? Oh, Baruch Hashem. Yeah.
This is just a question with the do not murder.
Yeah.
Like a tiny bit. But it's like, is that why, like what you're saying, you can like kill in self-defense or whatever? Is that why, like in some scenario, let's say like a woman's pregnant, but like she'll die during.
So if a woman's life is threatened by the fetus, then abortion is absolutely permitted. Yes, Chayecha. That's why abortion, if the woman's life is in danger, physically and mentally, by the way. That's another question that's not for now. It's a deep, deep question. If the baby, she must. If her life, she knows she's going to die, and the baby, in order for the baby to survive, she must kill the baby in order to survive. Once the baby starts to crown, starts to come out, then the baby's life takes equal precedence, and you can't do that. Once it starts to crown, then its life takes on different status. That's another discussion. Have a great, amazing day. And we will pick this up. We're going to finish this list off on Thursday. Have a great day.